Hello.
You again. I said it's you again.
Are you guys still driving?
We're almost there, but yeah, we're about
Oh,
15 minutes away. It's like a 3-hour drive.
oh well,
So,
that's like from here to Alexandria. That's not so bad, actually.
go. Yeah, not horrible. I didn't time it right though. I thought I would get there in time for our 11 o'clock. So we're at a
It's
gas
fine. It's
station.
okay.
Yeah. So, oh, I like our call this morning, what we're accomplishing. Excuse
Same
me,
here.
what we're getting done.
We'll get there. Don't worry. I'm very confident of that.
Yeah. Hey, look, I like the offering we have around it. We just need to solidify the system. So, hey Hubert,
Hello, good morning, everyone.
morning. It'll be interesting to see. I got several messages from people that won't be able to make it today. So week to week, I never know. We generally have 7, 8, 10 people on the call. Some weeks we have no one on the call. Now that we've never had no one on the call, but I know Cups is traveling. Adam said he'd be late. Butch said he'd be late. There's Josh. Heard from others. So we'll see. Hey Josh,
Hey, good morning, Brandon.
how are you?
I'm good.
Morning.
Good. Hi, Nora. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Very good. Thank you. Happy Friday.
Happy Friday.
And Josh, Hubert, Josh. Hubert is he's joining us on Fist Bump. He's going to be currently our VP of Demand Gen. He's going to take over all of our marketing side and everything.
Oh, right on. Welcome,
Yeah.
Hubert.
Thanks, Josh. Nice to meet you.
And Hubert,
Likewise.
Josh and I go back about 20 years-ish.
Yeah.
We were
Wow.
we were kind of competitors in my second company and a company that he worked for a long time.
Yeah. Yeah. You were you were an initial competitor. But
Well, when we started, I looked to you guys for to do some print work for us. We were going to outsource a lot of the print that you guys did.
okay.
That didn't work out is when I went out and bought 6 HP Indigos and became your competitor.
It's all coming back to me now.
Yeah. 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 You guys ran Xerox presses, right?
Zycons.
Zycon, that's right. Oh,
Yeah. They were out of
that's-
Belgium. And they actually I was just up there a couple weeks ago and they're dismantling them now. They're transitioned everything over to sheet fed. Honestly,
Really?
the company's kind of a shell of what it used to be, which is
Yeah.
kind of sad, but is what it is.
My company's a shell of what it used to be too. It's gone through 5 different hands now.
Wow.
But yeah. So anyway, well, let's oh, here we go. Look at, we got people coming in.
Chris Dunn in the house.
There we go.
Hey, Chris.
Hey, Chris.
What's up, all? How you doing?
Good.
Good. We got Bob joining. Hey, Bob.
Hey, Bob.
Hello.
Hi, everyone.
Hey, Nor.
Cool. Well, hey, we were just about to get started and you guys popped in. So let's get going. If you guys saw my message, first of all, I'm part way to Birmingham. I'm helping our daughter move from luckily she's moving from one place to literally just across the parking lot. So it's not too bad. And I brought my son for the heavy lifting. So I don't have to do too bad. And actually Seth, I don't think Seth's joining us today, but Seth's daughter and my daughter will be living together now. So Seth will be out here working on it. But hey, So guys, I wanted to express this, and then I have a few other things that we can chat about, but really wanted to make this, let it be a Q&A and let us all learn from each other what's going on. But um, I want to double down on the value of personal brand and the quote, "I feel like I already know you" value. You know, I was in Palm Springs this past week with the client working on doing one of our event programs, and multiple times throughout the week, it's called field service. So it wasn't a Microsoft event, but there were quite a few Microsoft partners there. And, you know, throughout the week, I wasn't there the whole week. I was there for 2 days, but Monday and Tuesday, I kept getting people coming up to me going, "Hey, Brandon, LinkedIn, right?" I had no idea who they were. No idea who they were. We had another story last week. I'm trying to figure out who it was, but it was another one of those where somebody said, "Hey, I've been paying attention to your content," and the person was like, they've never liked anything, they've never commented on anything, we've never heard them. So it's a twofold encouragement. One is the consistency. It creates that credibility. We can't get frustrated. My numbers have been down. I think partly I was traveling. I haven't done as many selfie pictures. My posts haven't been as good as I would like them to be. Go for it. And we're in a Buc-ee's parking lot, by the way. Josh, you don't know Buc-ee's, do you?
Don't know.
Beckham's going in to get food. Buc-ee's is like the the gas station stop on steroids. The store is like the size of Walmart.
Oh,
And then the gas station has like 100 pumps. And it's like, yeah, it's kind of like a big Cracker Barrel almost, but then it's
okay.
also it's like all kinds of food. Yeah, it's just big
All
nuts.
right.
So anyway,
Hey, Brandon, can I just kind of jump in to pile on what
of
you're
course,
talking about? So I had a industry event last night. It was about 100 something people, and it's a fundraiser for our industry. So a lot of companies, everybody's kind of connected to the trade show world in some shape or form. Some people are competitors, other people are vendors, not really the end customer, but people like on my side of the fence. And I had to have at least a dozen people who were like, "I love what you're doing on LinkedIn." And they also said, "I never comment and I never like it, but don't think that I'm not watching." So, I wish I could validate that with people who might eventually become a customer, but I got to feel like, Mrs. Wilson says, if one person, has the question, 10 other people probably have the same question, right? So I'm hoping that it's just resonating that way with my ICP as well.
yeah,
I don't know that for sure, but if other people in my industry are giving me, these reinforcements, then I got to think that there's people who are potentially a customer or who might influence customers along the way are feeling the same. So it did my heart well to be like, okay, great. I appreciate, even though like you're saying, the engagement's not always there. The numbers aren't always great, but way more people are seeing it than maybe we know.
Yeah, for sure. Anyone else want to add to that? That to piggyback on top of that, I want to overemphasize the personal, the humanity pieces. This is a big differentiator in LinkedIn right now, especially because so many people, for whatever reason, have just shied away from the personal stuff. And I think this piggybacks what we talked about last week with stories and the value of our personal stories. But a lot of people will shy away from anything personal because LinkedIn is supposed to be for business. And you guys, my take on it. Business has never been totally business. Business has always been personal. We talk about people do business with those who they know, like, and trust. If we can't use LinkedIn for them to get a chance to know us and like us and trust us, we're missing out on a huge opportunity. So doubling down on getting your business messages into post with pictures of you. And I always say selfies. They don't have to be selfies, but most of the time we're by ourselves, so it's us taking selfies. But here's some more ideas. Pictures outside of different locations. I think of the post that Cups did a few weeks ago. If you guys remember it, he was outside of a Panera, and he had his big old refillable iced tea, and I guess he's got a subscription for unlimited iced tea at Panera, right? And Reem, you know it, yeah. And he's outside of Panera. He's got the Panera logo. He's kind of looking in, so it was like a selfie, and he's got his cup. And then he was talking about subscription models and things like that. But that post did really well for him. But here's what I like about it. It's not just how many views, how many comments, how many likes, but I want you guys to see what's happening, what's unpacked in this if we deconstruct it. It's showing his personality, right? He was kind of like with his cup. And people respond to that. They feel like they know you because you can go in a picture. You know what I mean? It's like you're showing that humanity, you're showing that personality. And I'm emphasizing this on purpose, like, right? It feels so cheesy. I get it. But there's not very many people doing it on LinkedIn. And when you're doing that, you're showing your humanity, you're showing your personality, you're being human. And most people on LinkedIn is they hide behind their title. And I mean by that is they only talk about business and they only talk about business stuff and they only publish flyers and brochures and they hide. And I'm telling you, our own humanity wants to connect with other people's humanity. So if we are not showing it, or we have to be showing our humanity, we have to be showing our personality, we have to bring them into what our world is like. And it's amazing how many people will connect with it. They will resonate with it in a variety of different ways. And because we do it and we stand out from everybody, from the vast majority of people on LinkedIn, we're remembered and we stay top of mind. I've got a few more examples I want to share with it, but I want this to be more conversational. So what are you guys hearing and what are you thinking?
I mean, I think it makes sense what you're saying. I mean, for me, the beer thing is brand new, but I was talking with somebody about it yesterday because I was on a call and they were like, "Hey, I like that beer thing." So it's similar to what Chris was expressing. They'd never commented or liked it, but they were just basically saying like nobody's doing anything like that, right? So that's a unique, differentiator.
Yeah, and I like that term. Have you ever heard we use a term uniquifier? It's your unique differentiator. Okay. I put it together, call it your uniquifier. Yeah. Like we have got to be focused on what our uniquifier is, and whether it's beer, it's your dog walk, it's whatever that is. We've got to take advantage of it and repeat it and repeat it and repeat it and get outside of our comfort zone. Because what I'm finding even more and more as I go to these places, I go anywhere and people are like, "Hey, I remember you. I seen your stuff on LinkedIn." Nobody's come up to me. Now, great. There might be some people sitting back going, "Oh, that's that jerk from LinkedIn that does that stupid stuff." Maybe, and they don't come and say it to me. But most of the people come up and they feel like they know me, right? And they're like, they come up to me. Let's not get out of control, but you hear like how celebrities talk about people will walk up to them and be like, act like they know them because of a character that they played and kind of treat them like that. It's similar to that when I'm at these events and people walk up and it's like, they've got this smile on the face, or they got this look on this face like somebody, you know, like they're walking up to say hi to me, like I'm supposed to know who they are. And I have no idea who they are, but they sure as heck know who I am. And everything that we're doing is about building our influence so that when we ask people for meetings, they're more likely to say yes. Or when we ask people for a referral, they're more likely to say yes. So that uniquifier and bringing out your humanity and getting more and more comfortable with, don't hide behind your personality, or don't hide behind your title, don't hide behind your business, but be you and put it out there. Thanks, guys.
You know, Brandon, I think two things. One is if you, if somebody said, you know, why is that guy posting this on LinkedIn? It's probably
Mhm.
somebody you're never going to know, like, or trust anyway, so it doesn't matter.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And and I did have one funny experience with a personal picture. I took one with smoking a cigar in front of the cigar store that I work at a
Did you
lot.
get, excuse
And
me
this
one
one,
second. Did you get the drill bits too? Yeah.
we can do a
I don't
post
want
on
him,
this.
yeah, I don't want him to take the drill and not have the drill bits.
This is going to be a great post.
Yeah.
How Brandon worked
Okay.
on his drill in the middle of a coaching meeting.
Sorry.
Multitasker.
Abby came and picked him up. So guys, we got a little too much traffic in Atlanta. So I was supposed to be at Abby's house by 11 o'clock for our call. I'm about 15 minutes out. So I pulled over at Bucky's, and Abby came to pick up Beckham, and I'll meet him. I'll meet him when we're done. But go ahead, Butch, I'm
Oh, but
sorry.
anyway, I was going to say I took one smoking a cigar in front of the cigar store I work at a lot. And it was a woman, and her comment was yuck. And then she followed me.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and that's, you know, I have intentionally not done anything cigar related on my personal brand, because I find it to be, it's either people go yes or they say yuck. And so I've kept it entirely out of LinkedIn intentionally. But that was my decision. But yeah, the personal stuff, it also keeps us out of the sea of sameness, right? We stand out. But it's that repetition. And I'm finding the selfies and they're cheesy. I get it, but they capture, and they don't have to be that cheesy look, but they're getting a lot of play on my end. And I'm just finding the, hey, I feel like I know you, or hey, you're from LinkedIn. That value is just invaluable. The other piece to piggyback on that, besides the selfies, if you're not as comfortable with the selfies, you know, do pictures. If you go to a meeting, you're out and about, do pictures with buildings in the background. And again, I'll say, like the one that Cups did with Panera. It was Panera. It was, you know, a crappy fast food restaurant, but he leveraged it because it was him out and about. Like, I will do one from Bucky's, because a lot of Bucky's has kind of this cool reputation of being such a cool place, and people that know it rant about it, or rant and rave about it, and people that know about it but have never been there are jealous that you're at one. And so before I leave, I'll take a picture with like the Bucky's, you know, sign in the background, or they've got a big Bucky statue out front. Go take a picture with that and put it in my archive. I may not post on it today, but I'll put it in my archive and have that in my camera roll. The other thing I want to encourage you guys to do, and this could be pictures at your desk, it's, you know, pictures of you anywhere, but start, if you're not recording your conversations with customers, at least when you're done with a call and it's fresh on your mind, grab your phone, use Zoom, use whatever, but just start verbalizing. I was on the phone with, and give their title. You can use their name if you want, but really it's their title and their industry, and say, this is what they were asking about. This is the challenge that they're dealing with. And this is what we share, what I shared, or what we talked about. capture it the best that you can. If you can get it in audio, and we use a tool called, was it Ream Cockatoo? I think it's Cockatoo that we use for transcribing. You can load any file and it'll give you the
Yeah.
transcripts from it. Thank you.
Yep.
And then you can go into Creator Studio, part of Fist Bump, and you can load the transcripts and then choose from, I think we now, I don't know, there's like 16, 18 different post structures in there. They've got their structures, there's a strategy behind it. Load your transcript, choose one of those, and let it write a post for you. It'll leverage your twin and it'll write it in your own words. And it's already your transcripts anyway. It's you saying, hey, here's my summary of the call. And it'll kick that thing out in a matter of seconds, like 10, 15 seconds. And even if you don't use it verbatim, you edit it and take a minute or two to edit it. And now I got another post, and start, use the pictures on your phone, find an image that corresponds to it, load it in there, and then publish it into LinkedIn. And once it's in Fist Bump too, you can always go back into Fist Bump, reuse a post, and once you open it back up, you hit your rewrite button and it'll rewrite the exact same post in new words, but it's already your post, so it's just going to rewrite it from your words anyway. But my point of that is the calls, the conversations. If you're listening to a podcast or watching a live show and something stands out, and just grab your phone and create your own audio note and talk about, what did you hear? What did you learn? What does it make you think of? And remember the rule of three. What have you observed? What are you thinking? And what are you feeling? And just get that stuff down. And then take a whole bunch of selfie pictures and pictures wherever you are in your life and marry those two together. I know it's kind of weird, but think about like the one that I did with the snake habitat picture. I was on a hike. The sign said caution snake habitat. And the copy I used was about how there's such a lack of trust with salespeople these days. But I used a sign that said caution snake habitat.
Right.
The picture and my hook, I was on a hike and I saw this. That was my hook. You're going through the LinkedIn newsfeed. It's boring business, me. And all of a sudden, you see this type of picture. It's that pattern interrupt. We stand out and people pay attention. Is this falling on, is this resonating?
Yeah, absolutely. I think
Yes.
and the more you get used to posting, I think the more I'm finding inspiration anywhere. I was walking by my son just came home from college the other day. His room's a absolute shit show. There's stuff everywhere. I walked by and I'm like, that's a picture right there. So I took a picture of his room with like an explosion, and I'm like, his conversation waiting to happen with that.
Yep.
So just finding those inspirational pieces, and like you said again, you don't have to use the picture right away. You put it in your archive, and at some point it's going to resonate and be like, I can talk about the story, and then here's an illustration of how it might kind of marry together. But super relatable, like literally, like anybody who's got a kid who came home from college at some point, looks at that picture and goes, oh yeah, I've been there. So I got a question. I want to kind of pivot a little bit on this and just kind of see what you think and what the group thinks. There was a guy in my industry who he's reasonably active. He's definitely a thought leader in the industry. He's not on LinkedIn all the time, but the other day he posted something about like how to ruin your brand, and he literally took a picture of somebody else's post, and it was a sales guy who had proposed. I'm guessing this is real. He's
it went viral.
Yeah, I just proposed to my girlfriend. Here's 10 things I learned about sales or something. And I was kind of conflicted about it. I'm like, okay, so he was offended by this. He thought it was the worst thing ever. And he's like, this guy literally buried himself. Now I can see both sides. I think there was an opportunity for the person who actually did it to just be like, hey, I just got engaged. That's really cool. And just back off of all of the whole, let me draw all of these, business analogies from what he did. But the vitriol that this guy had, who was like, look at, this is horrible. Like, he's literally killing his brand. And I'm like, that maybe he's, the 10 seconds of fame happens and people talk about him and like, boy, that was either a douche move or it wasn't. But I don't know, a week later, no one probably gives a shit anyways. So I don't know, but I'm curious if people feel like, do you think about that? Like when you're putting up a post and you're feeling like, I'm not really sure if this is something I should do. If you do it, does anybody else feel like, holy crap, I dug myself a big hole because I stepped in it? I don't know. I'm just kind of curious what other people think. I don't really think about that.
I'm gonna answer at the end.
Okay.
But what else? What do you all think? And did anyone else see that post?
I
There's a
didn't
guy
see
who
the
put-
post, but I mean, it seems lame, but I also I don't know that I'd be like, this guy just ruined his brand.
Right.
I mean, and I honestly, I think Butch talked about this earlier, but what you post today is forgotten, after the next third post down that you're scrolling through kind of thing.
Right.
And that's honestly, I think that reinforces the need for consistency, because I think good posts and bad posts are easily forgotten equally. And so if you're not consistent, I think it gets missed. So I just look at it this way, like baseball analogy, right? Like great hitters fail 70% of the time. Like I know I'm gonna flub one or something, but I think that in the past was holding me back to posting content. I don't know what people are gonna think about this. Is this clever? Is this funny? And now it's just just post it, go. That's my personal perspective.
Just to piggyback off of what Josh just said, I'll share one of my favorite quotes with you. It's we'd care far less about what other people think about us when we realize how little they actually do. And it's very true. We get stuck on the first step and thinking about how this could be potentially disastrous, but we don't think about the gain that could come from that. So I think that's a universal thing.
Yeah, that's good. Anyone else?
I just want to say, that post was awesome clickbait, honestly. I'm 1000% sure a lot of people clicked see more to see if this guy's did he really just do that? Did he really just say these things? I posted to my girlfriend, here's what it taught me. Did he really say that? So it's kind of a post that I really don't like.
The post?
Huh?
I'm just saying I shared the photo if anyone didn't see the post.
Yeah,
Okay.
I see now.
So this is awesome clickbait. It's not really the type of post that I would appreciate, but we're talking about him. So that's what he wanted.
Right. Exactly. So was it really a fail? I again, like what Josh said, right? Is it lame? It was a kind of a dick move.
Yeah, right.
Maybe, but we're talking about him.
Yeah.
I had somebody send me that post about a week ago. He's a former client, got laid off. He's a prospective client at his new company. And he said it to me and he said, okay, I got to ask you, what's your take on this? And I looked at the post and I looked at a bunch of the comments that were going on. And my opinion was this: I think the strategy behind what he did was good in theory. My personal opinion would be I would not have done that because it was too big of a jump. It was very obvious of clickbait, as Noor called it. It was very obviously trying to take something and exploit it for his personal brand. So I think it was in the right philosophy, the right strategy of taking something of a personal image and bringing it together. I feel for me, it just went farther than I would ever want to go and try to really emotionally manipulate people to take a look at my post.
Yeah.
I think to Herbert's point that it certainly didn't bury his brand, and two, it'd be something that would either be really remembered or really forgotten really quickly.
Yep.
I'd honestly
Yeah.
be curious to see what his other content looks like. Like, I mean, is this, you know, different strokes for different folks? And he's just like, he's got
Yeah.
that's his network, is just people that, like, you know, are just lame like that. I mean, I don't know. Like, maybe
What
that's
was
just
his name again?
Well, you see, you guys, this is very funny because this is exactly what that post intended to do. Like he's sending you guys all to his profile in order
Yeah.
to see if he's like serious or not. So
But it was
again,
too
it's
risky though.
clickbait. Yeah, it's risky, but at the end of the day, it serves its purpose.
I
Yeah,
bet
I
I
don't-
bet he got more follows and connection requests than he did get unfollows and unconnection requests.
Yeah, true.
Yeah.
True.
So to Nor's point, it worked. Like good, bad, or indifferent. We're all talking about him, and we've been talking about him.
I think the other thing with posts like that or in that vein is if you go too far, whatever that means, it will start to bring out the LinkedIn, what I call kind of the pure business people, the ones that, like, I've had people tell me that they think that even some of my stuff is it's not appropriate for LinkedIn. Like, okay. And I'm happy to engage that conversation, but they're I don't want to say purists because I think they're wrong. I think it's bullshit. Like business has never been pure business for me ever. My customers always become my friends if they're open to it. Like that's
Yeah.
just who I am, and that's the way I've always done business, and I prefer to. And so I don't think that what we do is the way that we do this is wrong. It's just not for everybody. There's certain people, and my honest opinion is that people that separate business from personal, I believe they're trying to hide something. There's something that they're unwilling to be fully authentic with. Like they're not confident in their own skin, and they don't have the ability to do that. And so I think for me, it's a big tell of who they are and what they're about. Maybe I'm going a little too far and being a little bit judgmental, but I think it just says a lot about the people that come out and like spew so much hatred over somebody that would do that. Like, hey, I think it's a little cheesy. I think it went a little too far in my opinion, but I'm not going to go bash the guy for writing a post using his picture. You know?
I also think that the nature of what's on LinkedIn now is so different than it used to be. Like I'm thinking about Savannah Bananas, right? They're probably made their name on Instagram or whatever. Definitely much more of a social type of thing, but they're all over LinkedIn now, and it has nothing to do with my business, but it has everything to do with about human interaction and rewriting a script on how boring is baseball. We're going to literally reinvent the sport and make it way more fun. And you can look at that content and what they've done to talk about a disruptor. I mean, they're freaking selling out Fenway. I mean, they're traveling around the country. 5 years ago, they could barely get one person to go to a game, and now they're creating this cult following, right? So we can all learn a lot of things from these things that aren't quote unquote business, but
totally
again, like
business.
said, when you're
That's
scrolling,
what's interesting is like Savannah Bananas is actually all business. Like I got to interview him, Jesse Cole, and like fundamentally he took the most boring professional sport there is, and he just was like, fuck it, we're re-scripting this, right?
Yeah.
And like
right.
and it's honestly, it's one of the most fascinating stories because he said everybody is rowing this way, we're gonna row over here, and we're gonna completely be in our own lane, and nobody, like, it's fascinating how much exposure, how much reach he's gotten just because he took a different perspective.
Right.
Yep.
And now
And I think, and Hubert and I, you guys know Hubert's joining Fist Bump and leading our demand gen marketing side. And he's working on our messaging and updating our website and all that. But he and I have been talking, and I think that, and I think this is related, LinkedIn anything like LinkedIn lead gen and all that. There's so much garbage noise in this space. And we struggle with the Me Too syndrome. If I say anything LinkedIn, the first thing people want to do is compare us to the very worst experience they've had with somebody trying to sell them something on LinkedIn. Right? That's our biggest challenge. And I did share with Hubert, like I think we take this head on, and we have a very almost cocky attitude towards it, and just say, this is who we are and this is who we're not, and take a very, very strong approach to it. And I think that what I see happening in LinkedIn is potentially a bit of a center of this, is that business is becoming a place where you can't hide behind your title anymore because of the internet and because of social media. And I welcome that for who I am and who I've always tried to live my life with the integrity and honesty. And I've always shared with people about who my family is and how important my family is to me, because that's who I want to be in life. And I knew in the big picture that it would draw more of the right people to me and push away more of the wrong people. I'm not for everybody, and I'm okay with that. But the more authentic I am with who I am, the more the right people are actually drawn to me because I'm expressing it. And that's what I think we all need to do. And LinkedIn gives us that opportunity. So the guys that were just blasting this dude and saying he ruined his personal brand, for me, it told me a lot more about them than the guy that did the picture. Right? For me, and I think, and I'm pretty strong about this, people that hide behind like, oh, LinkedIn is only supposed to be business, you don't do all that. For me, my first response is, what are you hiding behind? I don't have as much trust for them because I feel like they're hiding something, and because they'd rather just be all business because there's something about their character or their person that they're not comfortable with, or they think I would not be comfortable with. So I like that LinkedIn is moving into this more personal content finally. And I don't know if you guys, I've shared this before, but during COVID, we didn't have the Mastering Modern Selling or Social Selling for Newbies or any that show yet, but my previous was called oh my gosh, now I forgot it, Digital Influence. It was my show, and I brought on a CMO from a company in probably like April or May during COVID in 2020, because she wrote a post that said, oh my gosh, what's with all this personal content on LinkedIn? And I messaged her about it, and I brought her on the show, and I said, what are you experiencing? And she's like, I'm just starting to see this more personal content. And we had this conversation about like, what do you mean by that? And I was excited then, and I'm even more excited now, because it allows those of us who are comfortable and confident in our skin and who we are as a person and the value that we bring. Like, I can have my humanity and my personality and the value that I bring. And when those two can overlap, skyrocket. Right. And that's what this strategy, if you will, personal images, we show our humanity. And I believe that in this post-COVID world, people are more and more starving to connect with other people's humanity. More people are working from home and all that other stuff. But I think the more we're willing to engage our uniquifier, our person, who we are, what we do, what's important to us, that it's just going to accelerate our reputation, accelerate our personal brand. And the goal of all this is, I feel like I already know you. Right. Then we put the other things in place. We're sending messages to the right people. We're asking for meetings with the right people. But that first step has got to be building up our personal brand, so that when we send them messages, we're not stuck in the sea of sameness. We're not just another Me Too that they go, oh gosh, some other jerk just sent me a message that I have to go and delete. But we actually stand out and they go, oh, Josh sent me a message. I feel like I know that guy. Why is Josh sending me a message? I mean, I think a lot of times people are surprised when we send them messages because we seem like we're so much bigger than we are, or so much bigger than we believe we are. And walking around that show on Monday and Tuesday, and people, I walk by and I look at somebody and I kind of smile because that's who I am. And they like double take and they go, "Oh, you think I know you from LinkedIn, right?" It's like they're more excited about meeting me than I am about them. But now the door's open. I stop and go, "Yeah, I'm Brandon," and then I talk. And now I've got this opportunity to tell them what I do, ask them who they know, ask them if I could talk to their boss or somebody on their team, and opportunities start to come up. And because they feel like they already know me, they're interested in introducing me to people.
Keep preaching, Brandon. You're on a roll. I feel like I'm watching Animal House.
That's funny. Should I give my Animal House speech then? Did we quit when the Germans bombed Pearl Harbor?
Yes. I went to the same quote.
Yeah.
6 years of
And his
college,
buddy
down
looks
the
at him and
drain.
goes, "Yeah," he goes, "Leave him alone. He's on a roll. Let him go." Yeah. But look, this is the opportunity in front of us. And yeah, I felt like I was on my soapbox and my pedestal there. But the time is now. There's a great opportunity on LinkedIn. And here's why I also know there's such a big opportunity on LinkedIn for this. A lot of the Instagram influencers, a lot of the Instagram coaches and people like that, they're talking about LinkedIn. And they're talking about it as LinkedIn is this, fertile soil, and nobody's taking advantage of it. Because they know the value. They know the value of that authentic human content. And it's just not happening as much in LinkedIn.
Right.
I saw that our buddy there, Darren McKee, I saw he did a 1 week experiment with TikTok. And in the beginning, like, he lit it up. He had freaking thousands of followers all of a sudden, and he got some business opportunities. Even, I think, maybe even closed the deal. But I saw one of the most recent posts was like, "I did it for a week and I'm done. I'm out," because he referenced some specific things of like, I had to create like a false name. It couldn't just be him. So there was some things built around him not being able to be authentic. So he's like, and granted, he's super successful on LinkedIn. So now he's back to just saying, here's where I'm going to focus my time and effort. So I was kind of curious, because I think we all probably think about, like, should we be doing what we're doing here? Should we be taking it and trying to duplicate that on other platforms? And I don't know what that answer is. Obviously, Facebook and Instagram are different. Maybe if you're a B2C kind of a company, it's probably a stronger push. I know my company has a Facebook page and they post, and I'll comment on it, but it's not where I'm going to spend my time pushing for business. Maybe if I was a realtor or if I was selling to the consumer marketplace, maybe a different story. I don't know. So
yeah, and I think also for me with TikTok is it's a unique type of content that I can't take. So LinkedIn is my core, which means if I could take my LinkedIn content and repurpose it somewhere, I would do that. And that's why I think Instagram is okay, repurposing our shorts. But to get really good content, so example is Bryn Tillman. You guys know of her. She's got a pretty big name in LinkedIn coaching and training and all that. And she's got a TikTok channel that gets virtually no engagement, has no real followers, but she takes her boring LinkedIn videos, which just really her sitting here like this, talking and giving instructions to her B2B corporate customers. And she's been repurposing it on TikTok, and she's not getting any engagement. And I'm not faulting her for it. It's just that TikTok has got to be more wacky, different types of video. And so you'd have to go and recreate all your video. And I don't have time for that. And my audience, they're probably I'm on TikTok a lot consuming content, but I don't create any content for TikTok. So That's my opinion about it.
You know, one thing I'd be curious about is, and I haven't seen these numbers in a while, but if you looked at the population of LinkedIn now versus where it was in say 10, 15 years ago, as more and more Gen Y and Gen Z and younger generations make up the bigger population of LinkedIn versus someone like myself, I'm a Gen Xer who's had to sort of train themselves to get used to social media in a way that younger generations were just kind of born on the internet and are true digital natives. Like, I wonder how who's leading what, you know, when it comes to how we approach LinkedIn versus like Facebook or something else. I don't know the answer to that,
Yeah.
but just throwing it out there.
I think it's going to have a big impact. This is the year, and I forget the exact number, but 2024 is the year where millennials become the decision makers for over $3 trillion in purchase decisions. Like, so it's a pivotal year where more, you know, millennials are moving into authority positions. And I think that's got implications in lots of different areas, including LinkedIn and the types of content that is resonating on LinkedIn.
Yeah.
Because if that's your ICP buyer, and these are folks that didn't totally grow up with the phone in their hand, not like the current, I forget the term now,
Z.
whatever, is a Gen Z, like our Zoe is a Gen Z, and she's basically grown up with some sort of a phone or iPad or some sort of screen in her hand. So I do think that that's influencing the type of content. But I think, I believe it really comes back to this, is that there was a separation and it made sense at the time. Everything was new with the internet, and there was Facebook and there was LinkedIn. And it just made it really easy for people to go, oh, this is personal and this is business.
Yeah.
And LinkedIn didn't have the engagement piece. I mean, when LinkedIn first started, it was basically a resume. And I don't think they had visions for anything else at the time. It was just that. We go and link with people, connect with people. So it was easy separation. But as social media has evolved, as the internet's evolved, I think as a bunch of things have happened in humanity has evolved, especially COVID, those lines are just getting blurred. And I personally welcome it because I've never really had big lines between business and personal life anyway. I just felt the authentic version of me was the best version of me that opened doors for business. So I was all in. But I think a lot of people do keep those separated for whatever reason. But I believe that I just see that that's starting to drop. And I think more people that try to hide behind their title and keep business business and personal personal, I think it's going to hurt them negatively.
Yeah.
Because we like to do business. I believe also those people that say that, I don't believe they fully mean it. They just want to control it. I'm sure with their close customers and their close vendors, they take them out for happy hour, they go to lunches, they go to dinners, and they do have some conversations around family. I've got one client, I'm not going to say names because some of you guys will know who they are, but I would say like 90% of the conversations that I have with him are pure like business. And I've made it kind of a game for me to try and bring it. This person isn't in any of our group coaching, so don't try and figure it out. But some of you guys may know who they are. But I intentionally move it into more personal. One, because that's who I am. But two, I also know that the more personal I am with people, the more likely they stay on this in our contracts. Right? Isn't that always the way it's been? And so I'm intentionally always trying to do that. And I've seen over time, I don't know if I say wore him down or break him down, but he starts self-disclosing more and more and more about his life. And that's my goal. Isn't that all of our goal with sales, Chris? Josh?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Build that connection. Right.
Yeah.
Deep. just to kind of go back to, what we're saying and what Hubert said with regards to kind of as the makeup of the business marketplace changes. I think I also heard right on the same lines as that, come 2025 or whatever, more millennials and Gen Z who are working than any other. So I'm a Gen X guy as well. Butch, I know you're probably, one of the last of the baby boomers, right? There's not a lot of you guys who are still in the workforce, but
Easy, Chris. Easy.
I'm just listen. I'm just putting it out there.
You're treading on thin ice, buddy.
And I know you're a wise guy, so I watch myself. I could get taken out when I walk out of this room. You're connected. But yeah, so those people with different ideas on how to do business are impacting everything in the event industry. It's changing to suit what people want those events to be, right? Because they were originally envisioned and built by, the greatest generation, and then the baby boomers and the Gen X folks had a vision of what this business event should be, trade show, convention, whatever it is. And now with the millennials and the Gen Zers, kind of taking over, they've become much more of an entertaining, situation. They're more fun. There's more fun stuff. It's not just business. So I got to think that's how they want to do business. They want that merge of life and business coming together, so they don't have to pretend to draw lines and hide behind them. So I think it's a good thing. They're also the same people who don't want to deal with salespeople, right? They're driving that whole, like, 90% of the people don't want to talk to a salesperson. They just want to go right to the buying process of an online purchase or whatever that might be. So that's happening at the same time.
Chris, I think that's a really good point, is that this generation, and Nora and Reem, you guys could speak to this because I think you're the only ones on here from that generation, but there's a much stronger attitude towards a work-life balance. Like, even, Gen X, I think we were kind of that last generation of, put your head down and work your ass off, sacrifice, get your career, buy the house and do all that. And now, like, I talk with our kids and stuff, and it's like, they're more interested in being happy than being successful, whatever that means. It's like their definition of success is different. And they talk about it's okay to be average and be happy. Like, if we ever said as Gen Xers it was okay to be average, when we got smacked up alongside the head.
Yeah.
Right.
Totally true.
And I've got to believe that that's influencing everything. So you go to an event and the booth is more of an experience than a formal business meeting, right? You go into LinkedIn and the content is more of an experience than just, here's my brochure, here's reasons you should buy my stuff, here's a why that we're different. And I think that experience is a big differentiator. It's our uniquifier. You guys like my made up word?
I like it.
Love it. Hey, this will tie in nicely, but Brandon, I know you weren't on it, but I'm assuming you've listened to it or watched it. But Victoria Jimenez on selling the other day, I listened to it last night. She's freaking awesome. Like, the fact of the stuff coming out of that 23 or 24-year-old young woman's mouth was like freaking next level with regards to her sales acumen. So it was really cool. And I know I got the sense, obviously I wasn't watching, I was listening, but Carson seemed like he was on the edge of his seat, because there's now hope, right, for the next generation of sales professionals.
Right.
This stuff, things that took us 50 something years to learn how to do it right, now is now being taught in a lot of these colleges. So I think we're going to see a wave of really well-honed salespeople coming out of schools and into the industry and hit the ground running and know what they're doing, instead of just this, spray and pray or pitch slap and, spam everybody kind of shit.
What I told, so when I was in Dallas, Victoria and I spoke, we hung out for a little bit. She actually intentionally came to school that day just to spend some time with me, which I was very honored, and I spent a little bit of time with her. But what I told her then too is listening to her talk and the skills that she's acquired in her professional sales program, even though she doesn't have the experience. I was telling her, you have better experience than this generation ahead of you. I think there's this gap that at least those that went into tech, into software, they went in and became a BDR or an SDR. And they did not learn sales, in my opinion. They think they did because everybody rah-rahed it as sales, sales, sales. But what they learned, I don't classify it as sales. I classify it as they learned how to bug the shit out of people. You know what I mean? It's they called, they emailed, they pound. It was like taking that old school boiler room mentality, which was a bunch of people that were trying to con old people into investing into crappy stocks, right? I mean, all the movies portray that. They put that into normal, traditional B2B business. And ironically, Salesforce is the one that really was behind it with their, what I just blank on the name of that book, Predictive Revenue Program. Like the guy came out of Salesforce, wrote the book called Predictive Revenue, and their whole predictive revenue was pound the phones with BDRs, and it was just a numbers game. But that generation, I don't believe they have any sales acumen. And they should be, they should be in that 10-year stage of like, hey, I've learned sales. I'm ready to go to the next level and be a very strong, qualified, full cycle AE. And they're not. They don't know how to be an AE. Butch, you're smiling.
I'm just laughing at you. I agree with everything you said. You're just on a roll today.
Well, hopefully something I'm saying is helping, just not making me feel good that I'm on my soapbox.
Nor can pull out your videos of you for the rest of the year with this, just from this coaching call.
Absolutely.
Or we take the transcripts and turn it into a blog article like we do. Like that's, these are the things I want you guys to be thinking about too. Like when something comes to mind, pull out your phone, create an audio note, and grab the transcript, take it into Creator Studio and turn it into 2 or 3 different posts. All right. Anything else before we wrap up? Adam looks like he's on his way to the lake.
No, not
Butch
quite.
is-
No, on the
Butch
way to
is hanging out
Menards to
with
go
the
pick up
birds.
lumber.
Figured you're on your way to go pick up a flannel
shorts
shirt.
on today.
I know I need to.
I'm heading to
think
that.
Adam, I think
Hey.
you should get a couple of flannels and just cut all the sleeves off and then let that be your flannel Friday.
My
Totally.
my summertime flannel.
Yeah, summer flannels, exactly.
I love it.
Redneck
I love it.
flannel.
There you go.
Perfect.
So,
Guns flannel.
I heard a quote the other day and I wanted to share it with this group because like it's kind of relevant to everything we're talking about. But the quote was that back in the 90s, there was an abundance of community, lack of content. And now there is an abundance of content and lack of community. And I think it just plays exactly into what you're trying to build, Brandon, is LinkedIn is a community. So
That's really good.
I thought it was good.
Yeah, and that's a good summary too. I mean, it's all about how do we strategize the actions that we can control to build community, or as I like to say, I feel like I already know you. Yeah, it's good stuff.
Awesome. Good.
All right,
stuff.
everybody. Well, have a good
gotta jet.
Friday. I'm going to go move, not the heavy things. I'm going to go move the light things. And my son and my daughter's friends can, guy friends can move all the heavy stuff.
Good stuff.
Good luck with that.
Well played.
Mike,
Hey, Herbert, I'm going to give you a call this afternoon. We can set up a time to meet.
Sounds great. Thanks, Butch.
okay, I'm gonna do this right now for both of you. It's Hubert, not Herbert,
Oh, sorry.
It
and it's Butch,
happens.
not Bruce.
That's right. I did call you Bruce the other day. So
Hey, we're equal. Hey, I'll just call you Herbert and you call me Bruce. That'll be fine.
sounds good. Sounds good.
But I told Hubert I called Butch Bruce for probably 6 months before it finally like clicked in. So
That's
We'll
awesome.
get it right one of these days. Yeah.
Awesome.
If you can just pronounce all the names of our happy crew in Cairo, you'll be in good shape.
Touche.
He was
Absolutely.
training this morning, don't worry.
Yeah, get my reps in.
All right.
Have
Have
a
a good
good
weekend, guys.
weekend.
Bye.
Hey, thanks, guys.
Bye, everybody. Thanks, guys.